my observation is this. Most of the players actually coming from Europe. None of the South Asian kids actually made through. Now, is there such a huge difference between the European kids and the Asian kids?
I think there are differences. I don't necessarily think they're huge differences, but there's differences in the way football's played in both continents. And for me, the South Asia boys, they lack the physical attributes in terms of competing on a level playing field, actually standing out, so really like taking the training sessions and really throwing themselves into it. Technically, they are what I feel they are. They're very good in small little areas, but when you open the area onto a bigger field, you sort of lose them.
The other thing is this. Now, there seems to be a growing gap between Southeast Asian nations and Asian nations, other Asian nations like Korea and Japan. Korea and Japan are consistently in the World Cup, whereas Southeast Asian nations are actually struggling just around that level. So, in your view, what do you think is that growing gap?
I think when you look at Korea and Japan, I think they've worked very hard within their federations to get their football right, and I think you start at the lower level and you start at the grassroots level, and you cannot build anything without a foundation. And I talked about a philosophy, and I talk about philosophies all the time. The country that we're talking about, the countries that we're talking about, have to have a footballing philosophy. What is the footballing philosophy? How are we going to run that? No one should steer off that footballing philosophy as a country. Certainly, you know, clubs might do a little bit, but as a nation, that's what you stick to. And for me, the shirt you're wearing, funny enough, has had a footballing philosophy for many years. The country we live in has had a footballing philosophy now for a number of years. Your country and the people of the country need to be patient with you and need to be patient with the federation and say, right, this is what we're going to do, this is where we're starting, this is our plan, not for 5 years, not for 10, this is our plan for the next 15 to 20 years. Whoever is our manager, this is the plan we want him to follow, and this is how we want him to follow it. And if they do that, I would bank my life in it. You will be successful. You will get success.
That was Jimmy Gillighan stating that Southeast Asian kids actually lack hunger and that spark to excel in football.
Well, based on the observation I had, when there were 100 kids from 55 countries, these are 16 to 24-year-olds unsigned yet, okay? So looking at what I saw, I mean, take Rahmat for instance. He gives 110, 120, 150% to play the best he can on the field. But he disappears. There was one stage, I think it was third day of the training, I literally wanted to get onto the field, shake him and say, what else are you waiting for? This is your chance. You know, and I actually said it to him. So
why isn't he stepping up? Does he not know how to play the game?
It's not only him. It's our kids from this region. They all sort of fall back into the shadows of the European kid. I think like it's not everything of what Jimmy said is here, because of course it's only a 3-minute segment or something. Jimmy did say that it seems to be a cultural thing. He's saying that the Southeast Asian kids, maybe it is a cultural thing that has been represented within the kid when he's playing football, that they actually disappear. They look, I mean, as soon as this, a more dominant European footballer is more aggressive, more skillful comes in, they just sort of don't want the ball on their feet, a bit scared. That's what he actually was leading to, you know. So yeah, our boys do disappear. There is no, I mean, the positive side, heart of a lion, out there wanting to give his best. But when the game starts, he disappears. And the Koreans and the Japanese boys, different.
Why do kids do that? It's lack of belief, lack of...
Yeah, I believe they haven't been guided enough.
Exactly.
There's not enough training, there's not enough exposure, there's not enough hours, right, of football that bring them up to their level. That's the way I see, especially our local kids. They got the talent, they got the heart, but they don't have the tools.
They don't play enough organized football to be able to just play
coaching.
11 aside.
I just was on the phone with the ex-national captain, the captain who took the country to the first Olympics. He didn't want me to name him, so I say it this way, right? He did say that the system, the schooling system and the sports system in this country is actually failing our boys in a sense that there is no synergy of developing kids at school.
Yeah.
Football, put it that football.
It's antagonistic actually, yeah.
Actually, so they're not
It's
really
working against each
communicating and synergizing and
Yeah.
coordinating their efforts. So that's where the system is failing. So people like Rahmat and all that, the system has failed him. Because there's nothing wrong with the boy.
We've discussed this numerous times of no leagues to play in.
That's it.
I just want to put a word of caution in on listening to the likes of Jimmy Gillighan, who is doing great. Jimmy Gillighan was a run-of-the-mill average English pro. I remember commentating on him for Swansea. He was a big, ungainly centre forward. He didn't have technical skills. All he had was a big physical. Well, he actually was a bit better than that, but he was a big physical
But he
presence.
had the desire and the hunger.
He had a desire and hunger. I think that's one of the big differences between the West. But Jimmy Gillighan, we shouldn't hang on his every word as though he's some kind of oracle. He's not. He was an average, run-of-the-mill English pro.
Des, Jose Mourinho couldn't make it on the football field. He was stopped from coming onto the football field. Now he's coaching billion-dollar teams. Please, your argument doesn't really set.
No,
in
I'm
that.
telling you,
You're making a player just because he was a lousy player doesn't mean he's a lousy coach.
Didn't say a lousy player. I'm just saying we shouldn't hang on his every word. He doesn't know Southeast Asia. He doesn't know the culture of Southeast Asia. He's never coached there, trained there, or lived there.
He's been in Malaysia, but not as long as you, though. All right, he's been in Malaysia, and that's when his observation started. Put it this way. You got to listen to these people, take what he's saying and study. We're talking about, you know, we were bagging the producer just now for asking silly questions, which we agree. This is the greatest question ever asked on this show for the last 2.5 seasons or so. What is the philosophy of footballing philosophy of our country? We don't have one, and we never had one.
But
That's the problem.
When you were saying about the captain that brought the national team to the Olympics, right? So what was the footballing philosophy then?
You know what he said to me?
Yeah.
There wasn't one either. But he said this. That time, because there was no real money involved in the football, you would say yes to this.
It's the love.
It's the love.
Yeah.
Passion.
You guys sacrifice much more than what our current players are sacrificing. They would come in from their work, train, then go back to work twice a day, right?
Yeah.
Our boys nowadays, everything paid for, given the best facilities, everything, and they're still not matching up to a certain level.
They are still the champions of Southeast Asia and twice
Oh,
SEA Games
whoopie-doo!
champions. That was
Guys,
something that the
Southeast
70s and
Asian
80s and 90s
champions!
teams never achieved. You look
Meanwhile-
at the Olympic process and you look at the qualification
Meanwhile, our
process
Japanese
to get
friends and
there.
Korean friends go into the World
Massive
Cup
investment,
almost every
massive
4
investment
years
with an
once.
infrastructure, massive investment with
They
infrastructure.
came and learned from us.
No,
And
they
they
came
put
here.
oodles of money into it.
They came here to
With
study
structure.
Malaysian football, and they went, right, we're not following that one.
And so they were following this so-called golden era of Malaysian football that you keep harking on about.
So-called? You haven't been here long enough to say so-called, my friend. Earn your respect to say that.
What did they achieve?
Who?
This golden era of Malaysian football.
You're referring to what have they achieved? Southeast Asian Cup and gold medals? What? And you
it's-
say that is a golden thing for you
it's
because you've
something
been here for the
tangible.
last 10,
It's
11
something
years?
tangible.
Nonsense.
But
How can you
still-
possibly...
They have won the
I would agree
AFF
with
Cup
that. At
and the
least they
SEA
have
Games,
something
yes?
to
So
show for.
what could
Yeah.
the Malaysian footballing philosophy be now? Because we're talking about the
What
present
is
now.
it should
What
be
is
now?
it
I want
now?
to talk about my measure based
Okay.
on time, right? See, Singapore. Nothing against Singapore. They're good now. To me, Singapore used to be a 5-0 team, right?
Beat them all.
No, I'm not. I mean, let's go Philippines. Malaysia will beat Philippines 5-0. That's how.
Yeah.
Look at now. We struggle. 0-0. Singapore probably a 3-0 team. Okay. Thailand 3-0. Even Japan is a 2-0 team. Malaysia is concerned. But look at where those teams are now, which simply means that we are not moving, and they have moved. They have done something. Okay. Philippines have done something, even though they naturalized a lot of players.
naturalized a lot of players.
But then again, that was what is required at the state of their football.
It's a clear philosophy.
Yeah, Singapore did the same because that's what is required because they're a small country.
But you lot always
Yeah.
defend
Yeah.
and say Malaysian should be for Malaysians. You don't want to go into the
but that's
bringing
their
people
clear
in.
philosophy. That's their clear philosophy.
Well,
What is ours? What
Malaysia's
is ours?
is your promotion within. You always have done, and you've got a 4-4-2 formation, which through the national team he's worked with consistently.
I think what Ross was saying off the camera was this: we are focusing on building teams. You were saying this, yeah? We were focusing on building teams, but not individuals, not the mastery of football.
Yeah, right, exactly. What I noticed in development programs, that's a lot, which is good. They might want to change it a little bit instead of focusing on players playing together. but built on personal skills, ability. If you look at the model of Manchester United, Ajax Amsterdam, that's what they do. Football mastery, that's what the focus is. So, meaning now we're building teams with poor quality players. So you will never go far, right? Unless you build players to the maximum of ability, then start.
But what we've always said consistently here is you need layers. You need certain achievement stepping stones to get up there. The reason why you're having players who aren't of a great standard playing it, because that's the top level, and they are the best of that level. And that's that's been our agreement right the way through. There is no layers to go through. And we've always said that.
Agreed.
And we asked you out there, what kind of footballing philosophy do you think Malaysians should adopt? One, Abdul Muradi, Sarivin and Izmir, and they all said, many more say a tiki-taka philosophy because it's suited to our size physique. Zul says, just play our kampong way, fast and high and through ball. Keshanan, our kampong style already has similarities to the Brazilian way of football. And Sulaiman Gerard says, bring back our bola kampong from during the time of Super Mock, Tauke and Spider-Man era. So two of them said the bola kampong.
Actually, it's not, whether you call it bola kampong or not, it's actually a very, very Malaysian flavor. And those are the way we used to play, and it was quite effective. I think we can adapt that, but I believe we still need to look into how the other countries, successful countries, play, and then customize it to our need, adding into the kampong flavor of playing football in Malaysia. I think it'll be unique. I think it'll be exciting, and it's our very own.
I think also when you play national football and you play against all these teams, you've got certain skill levels, but it's how fit these guys are. You look at your modern day footballer, they run for 120 minutes. It's not a 90-minute game. How many of our players can run that long and that hard?
The ex-captain was saying the same thing. His observation between when he was playing and now what the boys are doing, right? He said the fitness level, in his view, doesn't match those days, basically.
It's their own professionalism. How they let themselves go eating nasi lemak after training, etc., etc. Sorry.
People were playing on their own previously, meaning players who come to the national team are ready. That's why previously the coaches at the national level just focus on teamwork. Now you cannot do that because the players who come in are still making schoolboy mistakes. So you're actually trying to build a team with lesser quality players.
I do believe you wear rose-tinted spectacles.
Okay, Des, what philosophy should we adopt?
Not one single philosophy works. If you try the tiki-taka and you have a really good player like Afiq Azmi to play at centre-forward who can't play tiki-taka, then you exclude a good big centre-forward from your tiki-taka. If you decide to play long ball and you have somebody like Noor Sharrell who can play football, you exclude Noor Sharrell. So you pick your players on your team. Raja Gopal, big fan of Raja Gopal because he selected his group of players and he plays his team around what he knows the abilities of his players are. We can argue, so-and-so should be in or so-and-so should be in, but he's stuck by his system. And he says 4-4-2 is my way, maybe one player playing off the front, and I argue time and time again, it's successful for him. So Ong Kim Sweet does something similar. There already is a kind of system in place, organised, defensive, difficult to beat.
Ross?
Yeah, I agree. You can only play based on what we have. If you look at our modern players, they seem fit. They're all small built, low centre of gravity. Play to our system. If we play 4-4-2, pick the best left back to play left back, the best right back. If football is...
So you don't agree?
No, if football is clear enough for us to see, we should all be able to pick the Malaysian team. We should all be able to give you a first 11 and a second 11.
The thing is, we're not working at making our best better. That's what I'm looking at, right? You're right, we have the best set of players, but through different approaches, different methods, we can actually make them better so that when they come together as a team, the team itself is better.
And
Raja Gopal is.
Your philosophy on what they should adopt.
Okay, first of all, due credit to Coach Ong Coach Raja Gopal because they are doing their best with what we have in this country at the moment. But the thing is, philosophy of football doesn't just look at, this player plays what best or what formation do we play. Philosophy of football is about every individual in this country who takes up football as a passion. What do you want him or her to be? If you look at the universality philosophy of football in, say, in Santiago Bernabeu, Real Madrid and Camp Nou, they say very clearly, no matter who you are, what color or creed you are, you will be chosen in this club to be the best, well-balanced human being first. Then you become the master of football secondly. That's what we need to address in the schools first. Yeah. It is not about, should we play long passes or should we play 4-4-2 at the moment? No. It's got to really going down to the grassroots and identify what as a nation do we want to represent to the world.